Pitt 76, Clemson 43 last night at Peterson Event Center. And the Panthers Guy Junker off to a 5-1 start in the ACC. Looking very impressive.
I still remember some of the tweets I saw at the 10 minutes into the first game. Hey, Pitt, welcome to the ACC. Well, let's send one out this morning. Hey, ACC, welcome to Pitt.
Yeah, welcome to the zoo. Joining us now to talk about the great start and, of course, a man who's responsible for this whole renaissance. Pitt assistant basketball coach and Wooden Award winner and first ever Big East tournament program back in his day as a player, Brandin Knight. Number 20 here with us on TribLIVE Radio. How are you, Brandin?
Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Appreciate you coming on. Give us your thoughts on the win last night. That was I don't think anybody expected it to be that easy, not to use that word. I don't know if it was easy, but it was certainly comfortable.
Well, I think I think some people expected a little bit of a hangover from last game, and I think our guys they bounced back. We had two really good practices leading up into the game. Our walkthrough, our focus was really good. I can't say that I expected to win by that much or that large of a margin, but our guys, we really did a very good job preparing for yesterday, and we came out and played very well early in the game, and we hit them with a big punch, and I don't think they ever recovered.
Brandin, this answer may be different as a coach and a player, but when you were a player and now, is it easier to practice and focus after you've lost a game than it is? Like, I'm wondering what between now and the Maryland game is going to be like because you had such a great game. You got to kind of bring everybody back down. That's not going to be that easy every game.
Right. I just think sometimes I think the team's focus is really good, and I think your leaders, it matters, how they prepare. I think just after Saturday's loss, we could have gone back home and, guys could have been a little distraught about, just the loss. But I think also just because Clemson was such a good team and, they were in second place, I think it was easy to get refocused for them. And I think for Maryland also, just our guys, we respect our opponents all the time. That's one thing that we try to get across, not only as a staff, but I think some of our older players, they get it across to the rest of the team. It's just, we could be that team. We were that team that was down 17-2 to open, the game against NC State, and things changed, very quickly. But at the end of the day, it's just, you got to prepare for every team like it's your biggest game. And like I said, I think our team captains and our leaders of our team, they came in with great focus after the loss against Syracuse. And I think tomorrow when we get after it in practice, they'll come with that same intensity.
Brandin, compare the offense when it's going well to when it's struggling for stretches. I mean, last night I'm not sure the offense could have looked any better. 24 assists on 27 baskets, and as you said, you guys came out with a big punch. Late in the Syracuse game, buckets were tougher to come by, and it's on the road, of course, and everything. But when things are going well, what's happening with the offense?
The ball's going through the net. I think we've been able to get good shots, fairly good shots in every game that we've played this year. It's just a matter of whether we have capitalized and knocked them down. We had some good looks late in the game against Syracuse. Talib had one rim in and out. Cam had a pull-up jump shot, which is kind of his go-to. It rolled in and out. Lamar missed a little jump hook, in the lane that was, down and out. So I think some of those are some of the things that they make your offense look better when, good shots go in. And last night, we had opportunities and we capitalized on them. And then also some of the shots, late in the clock, I could think of one that I think was kind of a heartbreaker for Clemson in the second half, was just the one that Lamar hit, with 0 on the clock. It was fadeaway three. Like, that's a crushing blow to a defense when you guarded that well for that long and somebody makes a tough shot. But I think also just, us making free throws, it would have put a little bit more pressure on Syracuse, in that game, and those were opportunities. That's offense, and when those baskets don't go, then it starts to make everything else seem like you're not getting good shots, you're not getting good looks and things like that. You start looking at percentages, and it's just like, what happened to the offense? And it's like, well, you got some good looks that just didn't go down.
Brandon, how do you think, how much will you miss Deron Johnson? You never like to see a guy hurt and knocked out for the year. How do you, I guess it will be more than one guy that's going to have to make up his minutes.
I think just, number one, he brings great energy to our bench. He brings great energy to our team. You know, it was great just having him back, you know, yesterday and being able to be a part of the team. He obviously couldn't travel with us to Syracuse, and he missed Georgia Tech also. So in that regard, that's one component, but also he's a threat, you know, and, you know, although streaky at times, just the threat of him being able to stretch the defense, he makes guys stick a little tighter to their man, you know, which creates driving opportunities for other guys. So we're going to miss him in that regard, you know, but I think more so he brings an energy and an intensity to practice as well as the game and our bench.
Pitt great Brandin Knight, our guest here on Ken and Guy. Brandon, when you guys play some zone this year, a little more than we've seen, but when you guys are in late-game man situations, we get this question a lot from fans, like even back to the Kemba Walker shot where he got the matchup on Gary McGee, and when the other night Ennis gets the matchup on Talib. Is that the proper switch? Is it just a lack of help defense down low, or should the guards be fighting through those switches out up top?
No, I mean, at times it's game plan. There's some games that, you know, I think it always sticks out when it doesn't work. And I think it becomes one of those things like, you know, I mean, Tyler did exactly, you know, what we thought he would do. He rejects ball screens. I mean, Syracuse, they got the switch that they wanted, and Jeremy Grant came back to set the re-screen, and, you know, for whatever reason, I guess, you know, just Talib kind of just had a little lapse in moment. Like, I mean, they almost put us right back in position to guard, have true matchups with James, you know, guarding Enos, and Talib would have been back on, you know, Grant, but he rejected the ball screen, you know, and that's one of those things where, you know, personnel, we got to do a better job of at times of just knowing personnel, and, you know, it was one of those things where, like I said, it sticks out because it worked in Syracuse's favor. Now, we've had that play happen a ton of times, you know, and it worked in our favor, you know, but I don't think people remember those. The ones that stick out are the times when it doesn't work.
Right.
Brandon, we were talking when we first went on the air this morning just about the atmosphere at the Pete, the Oakland Zoo. It looked a little bit like Clemson. Even some of their fans were like deer in the headlights when the lights went out and everything started happening last night. You played both at Fitzgerald Fieldhouse in your career, right? And the Pete, you were there for the opening?
Correct.
If you could just talk about the two, about what the Peterson Event Center has become in college. People talk about the Dean Dome and Rupp Arena and some of those places. I'm not sure, you know, other than a lot of the guys that have been there year in and year out that were broadcasting or covering the Big East, know what a great home court advantage you guys have.
Well, I think just the student section kind of surrounding the entire lower bowl, that presents a great advantage to us. And then I think the kids are very creative. They, you know, I mean, even our big Jamie Dixon cutout behind it that waves their arms behind the basket. They put a headband on him last night. So, I mean, they're very creative in what they come up with. And also, I just, you know, I always mess with our kids. It is. I know what it can mean to a team because as a player, I never lost there, you know, so I always kind of poke fun at some of our kids that, you know, it's only 3 of us, myself, Donatus, and Ontario, that can say we never lost as a player in the Pete. So I do know what that atmosphere brings. As far as just, you know, I think it's the best in college basketball. You know, even like Syracuse has 30,000, you know, but they don't have their student section surrounding the entire floor. So it's not, I tell people all the time, it's the least intimidating 30,000 people that you'll ever play in front of.
Where